Trump lawyer Alina Habba is widely, I think, considered to be one of the worst lawyers in the country because she was the point person in the E. Carroll trial that resulted in Donald Trump losing something like maybe $100 million. Now, of course, she would love to put the blame somewhere else. And one way to distract people in the MAGA world who might be mad at her is with some fake outrage. And here it is.
Did I get this right that she was initially awarded $5 million and they came back
for sexual assault? And then I want the world to remember something. We're in a planet where George Floyd got 40-something million. People that have wrongful death get 10 million. But this jury awarded for defamation for a sitting president to deny an allegation, to say, I didn't do that. I don't remember meeting this woman. And this actually works against sexual assault victims who are real victims. That's what his statement said. As a sitting president, he had to address the press. Then the other statement was on the lawn going, answering reporters. Again, he says, I did not do this. $83 million. $83 million. People die and get less. Die and get less.
Yeah.
It's Trump derangement syndrome and beyond.
Yeah.
I agree with her on this one thing, this first thing ever. This is definitely a case of Trump derangement syndrome. She's utterly deranged, or just a bad lawyer, or maybe both. Why not both, I suppose? She knows exactly why the amount is as high as it is. She's supposed to pretend not to understand that. Now, I buy frequently when it comes to the law that she does not understand what's going on, but she knows exactly why the amount is so high. It is designed to stop him from defaming her in the future. And by the way, this is like not a hypothesis that we need the amount to be high to have it do that. We've already tested all of this. He was fined effectively $5.5 million. That did not stop the behavior. He still kept doing it. Then 83.3, and he has stopped it. So the theory was right in the end. For him to stop breaking the law, he needed a bigger fine. And think about how fundamentally elitist her stance is, that it should be much lower. It should be $1 million, $2 million. So effectively, if you commit these crimes where you're not gonna go to jail, it's just a financial penalty, and you're poor or middle class, you are crushed, broken for the rest of your life. But if you're wealthy, it's a rounding error. You just get to write it off. Why would any rich person change their behavior when they're fined, 0.01% of their net worth? If these fines are supposed to have any effect on people's future behavior, it obviously has to be proportionate to the wealth that they have. She knows that. Every single regular Republican should be in favor of that because they pretend that they want the elites to stop getting away with what they're getting away with. Well, this is a perfect demonstration of how necessary larger penalties are and how they actually function. Now, there's one other aspect to this that I do want to get to. So really fast, let's jump to this second video.
It was like being in an epic Twilight Zone where no rules were allowed but for the other side. And then she goes out there and gloats and says she's going to buy France and a wardrobe and a motorcycle and this and that. I want everyone to remember, and I said this in my closing argument to the jury, she's here to get a check. And after this, she will continue. She didn't care, about the defamation. She cared about the publicity. And I argue that ad nauseum. Unfortunately, when you block a jury from seeing video footage, tweets that prove our case, when you block them from letting us have an expert, but they can have one, my advice to her would be not to go ahead and purchase any motorcycles or penthouse apartments.
Okay, legal advice would be better served coming from virtually any person in the country than Alina Habba right now. But of course, that's not why she's providing the advice. They're going to appeal it. They're going to do that. I don't see how it's going to be overturned. So if she wants to buy whatever the hell she wants, she gets to. She won that money, and she won that money as a result of like a decades-long process of trying to get justice for the fact that Donald Trump sexually abused her. I know, Alina Habba, you want to avoid having to say that. Acknowledge that the guy you're so committed to sexually abused her and then spent literally decades defaming her over it. But that is what happened. A jury has already found it. She can spend the money on whatever she wants. And I will say, I will give her credit in one thing. Nothing having to do with the law. She's just dog stuff when it comes to that. But she does understand how to be, I guess, raise her level of popularity on the right. And you saw it throughout that. Nothing that she said about the law made any sense or mattered. But what definitely came through in her comments there is utter disdain for women, particularly women who've been abused, particularly women who've been abused by powerful, well-connected men. She would have you believe that she doesn't give a damn about them. They're lying, they're exaggerating. Who cares if you're hounded by millions of deranged conservatives calling for you to be raped or murdered? You don't actually care about that defamation. You're just here for a check so you can get a fur coat and a motorcycle or whatever. Utter disdain for women. That is what she's selling, far more than her legal expertise. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.